So in chapter 3, we modeled investment as fixed II is equal to I bar. But in this problem, we look at what happens when investment is allowed to depend upon output. So we have I is equal to B naught plus B1Y instead of I is equal to I bar. The rest of the assumptions are the same as the text, where we still take consumption to be linear function of disposable income. IC is equal to C naught plus C1 by D, where YD is your disposable income Y minus D. Government spending in taxes are still constant, so we have G is equal to G bar and T is equal to T bar. So in the first part, let's solve for equilibrium. Now we know equilibrium output in the goods market model is given as where Y is equal to Z. Now Y over here we know represents income or output, and Z represents demand. So this is the goods market equilibrium condition in the goods market mode. Now where we know Z is, where demand is C plus I plus G plus NX. So now we first need the demand function Z. Now in this case, we can see T is equal to T bar, taxes are fixed, they're lump sum. And we know C is equal to C naught plus C1 by D, which we can write as C naught plus C1 Y minus T, where Y minus T over here we know represents by D. And then we know KT is just equal to T bar, right? So this can be simplified as C naught minus C1 T bar plus C1 Y. So this is how we can write consumption. Then we know investment in this case is given to us as B naught plus B1 Y, where now it depends upon Y. And we know okay, G is equal to G bar, and we know okay, NX is equal to 0 because it's a closed economy that we're looking at for now. So given all of this, let's write what our demand function Z is going to be now. So let's just clear all of this up. So Z is just going to be C naught minus C1 T bar plus C1 by plus B naught plus B1 by plus G bar, right? So this is what C is. This is C, this is I, and this is G. Right, so if we just simplify this a bit, where we combine like terms, I the terms without Y and the terms with Y. So we get C naught minus C1 T bar plus B naught plus G bar plus B1 plus C1 Y. Now this term, where it does not depend upon Y, is known as autonomous spending. This is part of demand that does not depend on output or income Y. So now that we have our demand function, so equilibrium Y is now given by, equilibrium Y is given as, we know Y is equal to Z, so it's Y is equal to C naught minus C1 T bar plus B naught plus G bar plus B1 plus C1. So now we take the Y terms on one side, so it's B1 minus C1Y is equal to C naught minus C1 T bar plus B naught plus G bar. And then we can factor out Y here. This becomes Y1 minus B1 minus C1Y. So this becomes C naught minus C1 T bar plus B naught plus G bar. So from here we can write equilibrium output as 1 minus B1 minus C1 times C naught minus C1 T bar plus P naught plus T bar, and similar to the text, this is given to us as a product of the multiplier and autonomous bending. This term over here is what we call the multiplier. 1 by 1 minus P1 minus C1, and this we know is autonomous bending, which is part of demand that is not dependent by autonomous bending. Right, so in this way, we can find the equilibrium output in this particular model, where investment is allowed to depend upon output rather than being given exogenously. For part B, we'll look into it in the next video.